So thank you guys for joining us again this week on Got 10 Minutes. I'm super excited to have our guest, Kelli Mason, here with us today. Thank you so much for being here. She's a former head of people and currently a partner at Notley. So Kelli, before I have you introduce yourself, I have one question. You got 10 minutes?
Definitely. Anything for you.
Awesome. Well, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kelli. As Harold mentioned, I am a partner at Notley. Notley is a social impact firm here in Austin. We really exist just to use human capital, financial capital, connections, information to really catalyze the innovative social impact sector.
It's awesome. And I know we were chatting a little bit earlier and you were talking about some of the new projects and initiatives that you have on board and are rolling out at Notley. So I know there's the first one was Notley Tide. So will you tell our viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure thing. So Notley Tide is something that we had been thinking about for a while, probably a few months. And we were really thinking, how can we create sort of a fellowship model, incubator model for social impact organizations specifically working on racial justice. So we've been thinking, how can we really catalyze our ecosystem to provide them with the support that they need to sustain and scale their work? And focusing on racial justice because unfortunately a lot of corporate dollars don't go towards racial justice because it's not brand aligned. Right. So if you're selling things to kids, it's very easy to support literacy in early childhood. If you're selling, Nike, it's very easy to support sports programs for youth, all of these things. But racial justice itself isn't really brand aligned. And we had just read this study that came out through Mission Capital and a few other groups called Race to Lead, showing how underrepresented Black and Brown founders continue to be in the nonprofit ecosystem. Anyway, so we had been thinking about it for a while. And then, of course, the weekend after George Floyd was murdered, we got on the phone and we're like, we've got to do something. A lot of people were calling Notley and saying, how can we get involved? What should we do? And looking to us as leaders. And we thought, one, we can't wait to roll this program out. Like, these organizations need our support immediately. We can't wait till it's perfect. We need to just roll it out. And then two, we need to get people on board with us. People want to be involved. People want to be engaged, individuals, right? Not just corporations and grant making bodies. So we created Notley Tide as a platform where everything is still as we planned it, right? We're providing office space and pro bono support and professional development and all of this for the nonprofits that we're working with. But additionally, we've got this platform where individual donors can go and say, hey, I want to give $5 a month and I want it to be distributed to these 5 racial justice nonprofits, or I want to give $10 or $100 a month. And in addition to getting 100% of those donations going directly to the nonprofits, we're also giving the people who are making that financial commitment ways that they can act each month. So each month they get a newsletter that's 5 things they can do this month to be an ally and support racial justice. So that's Tide.
Yeah, that actually sounds really cool. And I kind of love what you said about, you can't wait until it's perfect, right? And I think that's a lot of lessons that people learn when they are trying to move things. And a lot of times, situations change and then it does, help you put your foot on the gas, right? And start moving. So congratulations on that. And then the other thing that you kind of mentioned to me that I was really excited about were the Ripple reads. And I think I was telling you I had a friend who, a lot of her friends would call and say, how do I talk to my children about race? And then you happened to mention this and I thought, oh my gosh, this is sort of the perfect opportunity and probably what a lot of parents are really struggling with. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about Ripple reads?
Yeah. So exact same thing happened to us. We launched Notley Tide and a lot of parents are like, I love this. I'm doing this to be a role model for my kids, but how can I talk to them about racial justice? And so we went back to the drawing board and we thought, okay, what makes sense for kids? How can we if the idea of Notley Tide is to sustain adults in being allies for racial justice, how do we sustain kids and families in being allies for racial justice? And we came up with the idea of, if you're a parent, you've probably seen like 40 books you have to read today with your kids about race, and it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we thought, what if we kind of do like drip campaign? So it happens over the course of a year, or however long you want to maintain the subscription. And it's one book a month. In addition, and the book will be about racial justice. So it could be about segregation, it could be about interracial friendships, it could be about anything to do with racial justice. In addition to the book, we identified and are partnering with these two professors at University of Texas who they run a center called the Center for Innovation of Race Teaching Curriculum. And they teach teachers how to talk about race in the classroom. And so they're creating this mini curriculum for us that keys with each of the books. It's just kind of like a discussion guide that helps parents come up with age-appropriate conversation starters so that they can really dive deep into the material. And then we've got activities. So you're reading the book, you're discussing the book, and then you're doing an activity to really cement what you've learned. And yeah, we're just so excited about that because I think it's so many kids, we're taught everyone's equal and race doesn't matter. But we're seeing the unintended consequence of that is that you raise these kids who don't understand systemic racism and are complicit in it and they're part of it. And so how can we teach kids of all races that this is a systemic problem, and that there's things that you can do even as a kid to speak up against injustice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's activating kind of your individual power, right?
Yeah.
And like little things that you can do in your own world. And I love kind of taking it down to the level of a child and, helping parents translate that, because I think a lot of parents probably don't because of fear, like, am I gonna say the wrong thing? But with all these activities, and I think that sounds amazing. And so I didn't ask you this earlier, but is that already live, or do we have like a go live date maybe for Ripple Reads? Or should I not ask you that yet?
We're hoping to launch in August, and the first book ships in September.
That's incredible.
That's the plan. And it's moving apace. I mean, a lot of people are interested and are kind of, providing a lot of resources to help us get this off the ground. So.
Oh, that's exciting. And I'm sure, as soon as people hear this, they'll, want to learn more about it and help as well. I know a few people who will probably be really interested in this. So before we wrap up, I do want to ask you, where can people find you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Notley, all over Notley's website. So we've got specifically for Tide, actually, if you just go to Notley's website, it's www.wearenotley.com, Notley. Go to our site, you can find Tide, you can find Ripple, you can find my profile. But yeah, I'm mostly there. I'm on LinkedIn.
Well,
I'm so bad. My Twitter's like 4 years old since my last post.
I have one post on Twitter, so that's kind of it. So I'm kind of with you there. So I'll be sure to post all of those links in the post and share, your information as well with everyone. So I thank you so much for giving me 10 minutes of your day. This was amazing, and thank you for the work that you are doing to advance racial justice in our community.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Have a great day.
You too.